You're listening to the Sonny Brown Breakdown. Now, it is time to break it down.
Welcome to episode number 10 of the Sonny Brown Breakdown, a podcast where I discuss the training, teaching, health, and education of mixed martial arts to help you find the difference that makes the difference. I'm your host, Sonny Brown, and in this episode, I talk to Brandon McCaghren, or BMAC, from 10th Planet Decatur in Alabama. We discuss his start traveling from his home to train with Eddie Bravo in LA, the value of constraints versus being in the wild, 10th Planet warm-ups, building positive club culture, and the importance of self-discovery. Now let's go to the podcast. Okay, here today with Brandon McCaghren, BMAC. Here we go.
That was pretty good.
We got close on the last name. How are you today, mate?
I'm good, man.
Good. Mate, so, got in touch with you. I've seen all your stuff online. You're very active with your website, Instagram. Got a great YouTube page as well. And when I started looking into you, finding out how you got your black belt from Eddie Bravo, it was interesting to find that when you were learning in Alabama, that you were having to travel to LA in those early days. There was no one there locally for you to learn off. And I was just wondering if you could give us an idea of what those early days were like. What drew you to 10th Planet as well?
Well, so I just started martial arts because I needed like a way to get in shape. And I was not interested in running or lifting weights. I'd kind of already established in my life I wasn't going to do those things, So I got into martial arts really as just like for health reasons. I didn't really have any aspirations of beating anybody up or anything like that. I didn't think that was in my, I didn't think I had that inside,
Yep.
So, I just got introduced to martial arts, and then I quickly learned that Jiu-Jitsu was the martial art that interested me the most, but that there wasn't any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu within a driving distance of me, not in a way that I could ever make it to class and train and learn it. Like I could get there once a week or something like that. So, and I was just trying to learn out of books wherever I could. I was learning there from the guy I was training with at the time. His name was Jamie Webster. He's a Japanese jiu-jitsu guy, Tang Sudo, Mudok Kwan, a lot of MMA classes and stuff like that. And I was learning from him at the time, and he was always like teaching us Brazilian jiu-jitsu stuff. And so I just fell in love with that. And then I got hooked up with Eddie because one of the guys I was training with, I was still a white belt. He goes, "Hey man, I'm going to an Eddie Bravo seminar. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, who's Eddie Bravo?" Yeah. And that's how I met Eddie initially. And I loved what he was about. Like he was just super passionate. You know what I'm saying? And it was just I had been to a couple of seminars already by that time. And man, he was just so into what he was doing. So he was like, at the time he was booked to do like 3 hours. He ended up doing like 6 with us. And then he made himself available after the fact to answer questions. And I just liked the spirit that like the passion, honestly, that he approached it with. And that made a huge difference to me. I played guitar too. So I didn't like the idea of ripping my hands up.
Playing with the gi. So you decided to just go straight no gi off the bat.
Yeah. Well, so we were training in the gi at that time, but again, it wasn't at a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school. So I didn't get the same, education on gripping and breaking grips or using the gi for or against me, So I didn't get the same kind of education, but I did play with the gi, you know what I'm saying? And I'd watch it, but I didn't get that deep gi education that, I probably would have needed to fall in love with it early.
Yeah. Okay.
But I was learning, and I just thought that fighting and the gi at that time in my mind, I couldn't understand any correlation. I can see correlation now, but at that time, that was no way you could have convinced me of that.
What kind of things do you think now that the gi has that value for fighting? What are those things?
Well, I think anytime that it has value for fighting the same way boxing has value for fighting. But boxing is not a complete fighting style by any stretch of the imagination, right? Every time you clinch somebody, they call it cheating. That's not fighting, right? So they break them up and they put the big pillows on their hands. But if you want to learn the best way to use your hands to strike a man in a fight and the best way to defend yourself against hands in a fight, there is no other art, but boxing is the premier art to do that. But the way that it became so elite was that it was separated and restricted. The rules became very restrictive. You're not allowed to kick him in the legs. You got to wear the big pillows. If you clinch him, that's cheating. And we're only going to give you 3 minutes, 12 different times to work it out. Oh, okay. That's a really limited rule set. Oh, don't hit him in the back of the head either. All right. Gotcha. So because they limit the rule set so strictly, you have to learn how to use your hands the right way. Right. But it's not a complete fighting system. Well, the gi, even though it's not a complete fighting system anymore, it has things that maybe don't translate that well when the gi comes off, or maybe don't translate that well when you're getting hit. But because you're not getting hit, and because you do have handles and less or more friction to work with, maybe you can learn some things in there that you wouldn't be able to learn if somebody was cracking you in the mouth the whole time. You'll take risk you wouldn't take if somebody could hit you. Just like in boxing, you'll use your hands and you'll open up in ways that you wouldn't if he was allowed to shoot a double leg on you. So I think each of the different styles of fighting have their place. Even some of the more like artsy styles, there's things that you can only learn by limiting the rules deeply. And that allows us to like spring up specialists, and those specialists in turn can change the general fighting style dramatically.
Yeah, I hear that. It's something that's been coming up a lot recently, is the power of those limitations that you can put on certain styles of training will actually allow them to develop more. It's like that little counterintuitive thing.
It is counterintuitive, but it makes sense, man. It makes sense. That's how you grow in your life. You give yourself a resistance that isn't like an artificial resistance, perhaps. Like lifting weights is an artificial resistance, and that's what forces the muscle to grow and adapt and become stronger.
Yeah, no, good point. It does seem to be just this constant thing that people want to just, eternal growth should just mean we let anything happen possible, but those power of those limitations and restrictions can't be overlooked. It's funny.
Well, unlimited growth could be possible with no restrictions, but it's not controllable. It's wild. It just grows because it's wild. You know?
Yeah,
that's
going
good
into
too.
chaos.
That's good too. You got to learn how to operate in the wild. No question. But by by training ourselves, not just coming to class and rolling, or just watching technique, or just inactively participating in the class, by training, we make those wild scenarios a repeat occurrence. Like it's something that, I've seen this before. It's appearing in the different contexts now, but I've seen it 1,000 times.
I hear that. So let's say you're in Alabama, maybe in the wild of jiu-jitsu, because there was no one there. You have that seminar with Eddie Bravo. He's given you like, this is the guy who's got the knowledge. He can give me some control over this jiu-jitsu beast, shall we say. How long since you did that seminar till you decided to travel out there, and was that scary going out there the first time?
Oh yeah, man, especially for an old country boy. I'd never been to California before. I thought I was walking into a different world, And the first couple of times I went out there, I just got my butt handed to me, of course, like just trashed. So yeah, it was an interesting experience. I started going out pretty quickly though.
Okay.
I've been going out every year, at least once every year since then. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I'll stay 2 weeks. Sometimes I just stay a week, sometimes longer. And then I've been flying him out here for seminars and stuff like that the whole time. And then until I got my black belt, this was my rule, was if Eddie's doing a seminar, it's within a 10-hour drive, then I'll make the drive.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so because he was everywhere through the States for the last, especially at that time, like really all the time with Eddie, it seemed like once a month, I could get out and see him on the weekends.
Yep.
So I got actually quite a bit more contact with him than you would think, just because of who he was and the nature of his travel schedule.
Yeah, okay. And when you were traveling, did you know about his history with Royler Gracie? Was that something that drew you towards him, or?
I learned about it after the first seminar. Yeah.
Yep.
But no, not the first time that I went. I really didn't know much about him at all.
Wow.
I'd heard his name, but I didn't really know who he was.
It's fair enough. Fair enough. And let's be fair, it is a cool name. It does.
Dude, Eddie Bravo is a cool name.
Does have a good ring to it.
Sounds so much cooler than McCaghren. The worst.
And so you're doing that training out there, and what was happening when you were coming back to Alabama?
So we were still at that at the karate school that we started at, called Webster's Karate. Great martial arts place. Just wasn't Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But we did have grappling and we had MMA, so I was getting beat up. I had people to spar with. I just didn't have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training partners. But I was getting to use my Jiu-Jitsu that I was learning all the time.
Yeah, okay.
So we had grappling classes. Usually it was just – they weren't full classes, but we'd have like 15 minutes of grappling twice a week.
Wow,
is what we would do. And then on the weekends we would have open mat, and I would just – and then I was going and traveling on the weekends to compete or train with somebody, and I matted out my garage, and I was anybody that wanted to – I was just training all the time. I was very directionless, but I was training all the time.
Yeah, okay. Bit of the punk do-it-yourself ethic going on.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing it. I was trying to reach out to sort resources as much as I could, because I definitely didn't think I knew anything. It wasn't that. It was just lack of training partners. And so I was just building. I was having to find people that could stay with it, people that would stay with it. And, eventually I had a couple of blue belts floating around, and eventually, so it just grew and grew until now we got 3 black belts in every class.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So that you've obviously, run your own school now. Seems rather successful. That started from those setting the mats up in your garage? The
school started as a blue belt. When I was a blue belt was when 10th Planet Decatur started. And we did it at that school that I was at Webster's. We had the back room. He gave us the back room, and I think he even bought the mats, and like just old puzzle mats, and put them down. And and just, a step forward after 6 months and a step forward after 2 years. And just eventually it snowballs. And I think like right now, I think we have like 108. Well, but I don't know about right now, actually.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I think we have right around 200 members on the roll.
Nice.
Just at the Decatur location.
Okay. And when that started, was that Eddie had a system that he was doing back in the day, I remember, called like 10th Planet Hot Boxes or something like that, where he would allow people to use his branding? I was never a hot box.
Okay. But what a hot box was like there was no official coach, but there was like an official spot you could go. They weren't allowed to charge for training, but the guy who was in charge of the hot box was trying to learn from Eddie himself. Yeah. Makes sense?
That makes sense.
It wasn't really a place. It wasn't really like a official spot, but it's like, 10th Planet friendlies are here. And people would go, oh, I'm trying to figure it out and I don't have a coach. Oh, you too? And so we would meet because of like the forums and stuff like that, and we would hook up when we could. Yeah,
okay. I mean, what a
couple of good schools cool popped idea. Out of that system. A couple of really good schools popped out of that system. Mobile, Alabama, Muscle Shoals, Alabama, Beaumont, Texas. I think JM and Zach and Great, like where Grace Gundrum and Thor, where they trained.
Wow.
I think they were a hot box too.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The hot box system was cool. We kind of got a little big to be able to monitor it properly. And so that's why it died out. But the idea was awesome. Yeah. I love that idea.
Yeah. Pretty, groundbreaking, pioneering idea, I guess, to try and allow people to do that. Whereas a lot of other, parts of jiu-jitsu is so locked down to,
Yeah, that's Eddie though, man. That's what he does. Like he likes jiu-jitsu. Like even the way he runs his association, it's not like a money grab for him. Like I'm not required to bring him for a seminar. I'm not required to buy gear. I'm not required to have my gear be a certain color or a certain I just pay a small affiliation fee each month, very small compared to most organizations. And, fly the 10th Planet flag like a boss, like as hard as I can. Those are the rules.
Yeah.
Eddie's like, yo, do you love 10th Planet? Are you one of my black belts? Then let's do this. And then he kind of gives you like, fly little bird fly, like find the best way.
Yeah.
I'll be here if you need me. I like that. I love that.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, and very different from how other places do things. Very, heresy to some other places to do things like that. So
yeah.
it really is.
What do you got to be afraid of? Like, you're going to lose people or not have as successful, not make as much money, but you're going to be passionate about what you're doing every day. And so Eddie's pumped about 10th Planet, probably more pumped about it than he's ever been,
Yep.
So,
and really, let's say it's generous of him to be able to do that, because his, like, the 10th Planet brand now has grown so huge, especially from, his involvement with Joe Rogan. It's just always getting that exposure, right? That for a lot of people coming into it, there is that attraction to 10th Planet of being that little bit different, that little bit on the outside, but yet everyone seems to have heard of it, and it's probably a common thing. You find, like, white belts on the mat going like, I want to try this rubber guard. I want to learn this. I want to learn this twister. What's going on with those guys over there? What's this lockdown? And it seems to be that that's probably a common experience with everyone teaching at every jiu-jitsu school. There's always a few guys who are like, what are these 10th Planet guys doing over there? I want to find out.
Couple of 10th Planet dorks over in the corner.
It is. There's that, there's that attraction to it, which is funny, but it's, situated in that space, it seems.
Yeah. My understanding is that causes tension in some places, which I don't really understand. But for the most part, I think everybody's cool with it, It seems to be.
Yeah.
It's a little different than it used to be. 10th Planet definitely used to carry a different, it used to carry the scarlet letter, oh God, he's 10th Planet.
Right.
Run. You're going to get high just seeing him.
Right. It did. I was always lucky that, my coach is a Machado black belt. So we had, we had, always had, like, rubber guard and twister has been in our syllabus as things to learn. And there was never any pushback if I wanted to experiment with 10th Planet or really with anything. They're very, Anthony Lang, shout out, very open-minded and, was very cool like that. But yeah, there was definitely that time where it was seen as, you're just you're probably gonna injure yourself, or two, you're going off the deep end. Like, that stuff don't work.
You probably think 9/11 was an inside job now. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Getting chemtrails everywhere.
Well, that's just something Eddie is known for now, like, for sure, as the other part, right?
Man, he may be more right now at this point in his life. He might be more popular as a conspiracy theorist than a jiu-jitsu guy. I mean, really, he might be.
There's got to be a lot of conspiracy theorist people happy that he's flying their flag the same way he's happy you're flying the 10th Planet flag.
Man, he loves the conspiracy theory, boy. I like to listen to him. I don't know. I'm too dumb to really make my mind up one way or the other usually. So I just listen. I'll be like, he's crazy. I like it.
So that's something with, 10th Planet, the schools I know are called moons. I'm not sure. Yep. I guess, like, the moon's on the planet. That's probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
That's probably it, much that. But as an instructor, then there's if you're going to become a moon, you've got to believe that something's crazy about the world. There's
no, nothing like that. Really, honestly, man, Eddie doesn't really care what even kind of jiu-jitsu you do. Like, you don't have to do lockdown and rubber guard and all that stuff to be a 10th Planet guy. Something one of his black belts told me one time that I really love, Samir Alam told me that the lockdown is not the 10th Planet gospel, and open mind is the 10th Planet gospel. So it doesn't make much difference to Eddie or to me either if you're a lockdown or rubber. I don't care what kind of guard you play, but you better play some guard. But you better build your guard on these principles, otherwise it's not going to be a real guard. And sometimes that manifests itself as rubber guard based on you and your experiences, your attributes, the moment. Sometimes that may manifest itself as a no-gi spider guard in some situations. That's okay too. Don't hate, just let it come to you. As long as you build your game around good, solid principles, then who cares what techniques you use, dude? I couldn't care less.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. So I'm in a 10th Planet school and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't like rubber guard. I'm not going to play it. No one's going to be there going.
No. So Matt Scaff is – so I have a couple of black belts under me now, but the first two I gave them on the same day, Sean Applegate, Matt Scaff. Scaff has been with me since he was a white belt. He's still there every day now. So he doesn't play any rubber guard, and he never did. Never did.
Okay.
But he's a destructive black belt. You know, you don't have to play rubber guard to be an awesome guard player. You have to play rubber guard to do certain things with your guard or to get certain submissions that you're interested in. But the way that I believe, the thing that I believe jiu-jitsu is, I can't want the rubber guard in the first place, or I can't want the lockdown or the half guard or the Z or whatever. Any kind of desire I have to chase those things puts me behind. It makes me late. And so I believe in a real reactionary style of play, almost like, okay, I'm going to stick to you, and then you kind of decide what happens next, but I'll win.
I got you.
Theoretically, at least. It doesn't always play out that way.
I hear that. So you're saying, you know, it's that idea of you'll react to what the opponent gives you, and, you know, you won't fight to force them into a certain position like the rubber guard. If it's not there, it's not there. And it's the same 100%. Way with the personality of someone that you're coaching. If it's there for them, they want to follow that path, that's fine, but you're not going to ever force that onto them. Is that roughly right?
Yeah. And I don't want to say never. Some guys need to be forced.
Yeah.
It's a certain, you know, some guys need to be corralled down a little tighter. Like, okay, you're not going to be a top player, 109 pounder. Like, you're not going to be a mount guy, probably. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
You know,
I get you.
Maybe let's work on leg locks for you for a little while or something. But
I hear that. Yeah. So, I mean, that takes us back to talking about those limitations that we do need to put them on there. As much as we like to talk about the open mind and everything, those limitations.
But the open mind is, to me, that's what gives you the choice of what to work on. Like, and that's how you can stay passionate every day, because you're training, you're working, but you're working on something that interests you. It's like a white belt says, Brandon, I really love jiu-jitsu, but I'm not growing too fast. What should I be working on? What makes you want to train really well tomorrow? That's what you should be working on. You're a white belt. The game is so big, you can't possibly pick something that you're good at, because you're a white belt. That means you suck. So just grab something that excites you, makes you want to train, and dive as deep as you know how. And when your interest shifts, that's okay. You'll have built a base level set there. You'll probably pick up new things in rolling now with that new base level set. But when your interest shifts, move your interest. I was interested in mount. Now I'm interested in leg locks. Go fly, little bird. But if you build your game on principles instead of just memorizing moves, then every time that you're learning something, you're learning everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like I know that makes sense to you. I guess I should, like, people that are listening. Sonny knows what he's talking about. Obviously, it makes sense to him. But if I build my mount escapes on the principles of balance and weight distribution and leverage, timing, the mount escape is built on that, not on where do I put my hand, where do I put my feet, when do I bump it. Those are all important, but the principles are what make the technique work, right? Well, those principles, when you learn weight distribution in situation A, if you're really learning weight distribution, not just memorizing a movement, then you also improved your weight distribution in other situations, because you improved your general understanding of what it means to distribute weight. So even though I might be learning it from the mount over here, it's going to work on my leg lock escapes over here, because the principle never changes. It's always true. Does that make sense? So if you have somebody who can guide your learning well in the beginning, which is hard to find, but if you have somebody who can guide your learning well, I'll give you as much rope as you want. Go learn whatever thing it is you want to learn, but you're going to learn jiu-jitsu during the course of learning through the filter of mount escapes, let's say.
So you're saying as a coach, you can let your students explore with whatever techniques really they want, whatever techniques that interest them, that draw them, that keep them passionate, that keep them wanting to show up on the mats day after day to try out this new move, whatever it is, as long as they're doing it in a way that they can learn and understand the principles that can translate to something else when they get bored of that technique.
Yes. Yes. That's a great, that's a much smarter way than all the words that I said.
No. You're putting it up there, mate, and it's a softball to me. Don't worry. So that's it is interesting though, because one of the things I've been talking about with a few other people, which I think is a great innovation by 10th Planet, is the warm-up system, which no one else is doing, and it was certainly the first people that or the first affiliation I heard of doing it, and probably still is, especially the way he's doing it. Of course, everyone's got warm-ups, of course, so if they don't know what I'm talking about, that's not going to make sense. Maybe you could give us a rundown of what 10th Planet is doing with their warm-ups. Yeah,
so what Eddie does, like if you try to come to Eddie's class at HQ and you don't know the warm-up, he's going to be like, yo, go to the beginner class. So Eddie's theory is the same as hitting the heavy bag in boxing, or hitting the speed bag in boxing, or just hitting the mitts. Like, you're going to memorize this combo. Until this combo is stuck into your DNA, you're going to hit the mitts just like this. And you know what? Once you do know the combo, you're going to come back and you're going to hit the mitts again. There's only a couple of punches in boxing, right? There's just a few, like the potential combinations of techniques are much, much smaller than say in jiu-jitsu, right? Like it's a limited rule set. And so why do guys who are really, really great, like a Floyd Mayweather, why does Floyd Mayweather still hit mitts? Why is he still running those basic combinations every day? Because he's still finding improvement. He's making sure that they're stuck in his DNA, and that when it's time to throw the punch, he doesn't throw it, the punch throws itself, right? So that's Eddie's theory with the warm-up. So he took what, in his opinion, are the most important techniques to him, or even if it's not the most important technique, it's a technique that teaches a thing that he wants taught, puts them into a flow, and he did 32 of them. I think there's 8 sets of 4. So there's 32 total, and you run one set of 4 each time you come to class, and that's the first 15 minutes of class. It's a memorized flow. It's hitting the mitts. Boom. Instead of just, whatever push-ups or running and whatever torture that the coach might have in mind to start class. Like, let's just get going with some jiu-jitsu mitt work.
I mean, I like the sounds of that, because even when I'm getting people to warm up, and look, we got to do hip escapes, we got to shrimp, prawning, we got to do it.
Oh, prawn, is that what y'all call it?
No, just me. Just me. That's how, I thought I'd throw that in there for being an American. I thought you'd enjoy it. But yeah, no, that's not widely used.
Well, I'm going to take it. I'm going to start doing it.
But we do that, and it's like, I guess we're trying to get to 1 million or something. Like, once everyone kind of gets that, everyone has to know that movement, right? Everyone has to have that down. They got to know what it is. But really, after a point, I know, like, okay, I guess we really are just warming up. You guys probably all know how to do this, because we've done at least 100,000 by now. But, we just throw it in. That the warm-up system that Eddie's put in, it does seem to be a lot like a kata, like a jiu-jitsu kata, which, especially now when people aren't allowed to train, or who knows where they are, but a lot of people having difficulty getting into the gym right now, having a kata to work out on or something like that doesn't seem like such a bad idea.
I know, right?
If you've got the ability to do it. And so he's got all these, moves, high percentage moves that he's worked into a flow. If you go to the advanced class, it's first 15 minutes, you're just warming up using that.
Yep.
Is the beginner class just each one of those moves broken down, or how does that beginner's class then work for people?
So I think everybody does it a little different. We don't do it exactly at our school, exactly the way that Eddie does it. But the way that it works at HQ is, you want to come to Eddie's class, you have to know the warm up so that you can do the warm up. But in the beginner's class, it's just about teaching those 32 patterns. So and there's a ton of jiu-jitsu included in they're long patterns,
Yeah.
It's just about teaching those 32 patterns in the beginner's class.
Okay. Yeah, because if anyone is interested, it's definitely worthwhile going to have a look at some of those patterns. They're great for Instagram videos as well. I noticed.
No,
like,
no doubt. Yeah,
when
what? They shouldn't be, in my opinion, they shouldn't be looked at as, yo, do these moves. These moves are the 10th planet system. It should be looked at as hitting the mitts. Like, when you see somebody hit the mitts, you don't go, oh, yeah, well, it's not a real fight. That wouldn't work in real life. Of course not, bro. He's hitting the mitts. You know, he's running through his pattern. That's really the way it should be thought of. And so it's done with, you know, just proper resistance, not much resistance, but not no resistance, the proper resistance, so that both partners understand where this is going. And, you know, once you get to a high level, dude, you're throwing 3-5 movement combinations. You know, your body's producing combinations that you didn't even know were there sometimes. Right. So having the guys work in combinations like that, I think, is really smart.
Yes. And so they've got those combinations to piece together. Like, I know, like, I'm having trouble thinking of something that's in there now, but say like a common back take or a leg drag. I'm sure there's probably a leg drag in there somewhere. And so guys will come to the beginners class, and how will it be broken down? We just say, okay, we're learning a leg drag today, and this is in this combination, but, you know, here's just a leg drag. Or
yeah. So like, let's say I was going to teach one of the warm-ups, and there was a leg drag in the warm-up. All right. So like, we drag the leg, like say the flow was, we drag the leg pass, we drop into the leg drag, and then he's going to turn, and we're going to take the back from there. That's the 3-move combination. Okay. So what I'm going to do, the point of that exercise though, is not the back take. It's the leg drag. That's the part we're trying to emphasize. Let's say, well, we're going to spend time talking about the leg drag, the purpose of the leg drag, when the leg drag might come up. Here's where you need your hands to be, your head to be, your body positioning. SBG would define it like, here's the posture, the pressure, and the possibilities from this position. And then we'll explore it from there. And today, beginners, what's going to happen is he's going to turn, and we're going to jump on the back. It's a position you're going to see a lot. In fact, you're going to need to know how to do it just like this. It's not the only time the leg drag is used. It's just the only time the leg drag is used tonight. All right, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, and we'll break on it, you know. Yeah,
gotcha. I like the sounds of that. I'm going to try to fit it into a music metaphor because you like guitar. So see how we go. So is it like the individual moves then become notes or chords that the students can play? The warm-ups then become a scale that they can go through. And then when you let them into free rolling, they're doing solos. Is that?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, that's great. Actually, that's a great analogy. Like the scales analogy is really a great analogy. Like, you don't, like, me and you are going to play guitar together and we've never played before. It's my turn to solo. I don't just start playing scales. But if I want to be good at soloing, I better be good at scales. So yes, the warm-ups can be thought of as scales, and maybe the individual moves are chords or their licks, their riffs, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that would probably make more sense. There's a little bit more to them than just a single note. So yeah.
Dude, that's a great analogy. I don't know if that analogy works for people who don't play guitar, but it works for me, bro. That makes perfect sense to me.
I grew up in a musical family, so
yeah.
It's
what instruments do you play?
Well, I kind of stopped playing when I got into martial arts, though. But my dad is a guitarist, and I grew up playing guitar, piano. I did a bit of saxophone. So
I don't play any wind instruments. I love to hear a good saxophone player, though.
Yeah, me too. And with Sonny Rollins is the namesake inspiration. It was always
okay.
It helped later on in the day. So
yeah, you got channeled some of that energy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's a good thing too, then, to just have that structure for beginners. That's one thing I've been chatting about with a lot of people, everyone kind of has a little different take on how beginners are bought into the club, but everyone understands that it's the most important thing, because nearly everyone teaching back in the day, it was kind of sink or swim with everyone.
No doubt.
There wasn't this structure to try and keep people around. It was turn up on the mats, and if you can hang, if you can stick around, then great, we'll take you on. But now everyone's kind of understand the benefit of having something in place to keep people wanting to turn up to do this sport that is tough. Let's face it. So a big thing that can contribute to that is just that club culture, and getting people on board and building an environment that's friendly and not so, I guess, intimidating is a common worry that people have coming into any type of gym. You seem to be, pretty passionate about doing that. And I've heard you talk about that being an important thing to you. How do you think that plays into jiu-jitsu? Not the technique, not the moves, but just the environment that you can actually build to get people to keep doing jiu-jitsu.
Well, I think it's everything, man. Like, again, I didn't start jiu-jitsu because I wanted to be a world champion, or even because I thought that I might be able to get good. I didn't even consider that might be a possibility. You know what I mean? I just needed like a thing to go do to help me get healthy that I would keep doing, because that was the problem. I could start at the gym. Every one of us can start at the gym, or we can start a good diet and start eating well, but it's keeping something going is the most important part. So for me in the beginning, I was lucky, man, that my wife started training with me on day one. Like, she was actually the one that was like, yo, you got to do something. You're getting fat. I was like, okay, we'll figure it out. Right. But that's a true story. She's a black belt. She stayed with it every day too. She's a black belt too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Been awesome for quarantine. Yeah, that's been great for quarantine. But I was lucky to be able to start training with her because I wanted to be there every night. We were doing it together. We were starting at the same time. So we both were unskilled. And so it was a new thing together. It wasn't a situation where she was teaching me or I was more advanced than her. We were both ignorant together at the same time. So it was fun. It was a fun environment. Plus, I can't praise Jamie Webster enough for the way that he ran his karate, he still runs it. It's still a great school. It's just different than what we do. But he really instilled in us the idea that martial arts were going to benefit us. Like, we were going to benefit from learning martial arts. Come to class, even when you don't feel good. Come to class. We'll make it an environment. And he made it an environment that we wanted to come to. It was an opportunity for me and Lindsay to get away from the kids for just a little bit, spend some time together. So that's a huge part of the culture at our gym is I train, my wife trains, and we're on the mat every day. Both of our kids train and they're on the mat. And we have a ton of like husband and wife and kids combos that come in and train. So we have a very family atmosphere at our place because it starts at the top. I want to give, we know now what we didn't know in the beginning, which is that hours are really the only thing that matters. Like, hours on the mat is the only way to get good. Well, if I run you off, you will never accumulate the hours if I rough you up and send you out of here. But even if it's rough, if you feel like your soul benefited from being there tonight, you'll come back tomorrow. Even if it's rough, even if it was hard. And it's rough, it's hard, it's uncomfortable, it's weird, it's gross. But if you feel like your person benefited from it, you'll come back tomorrow. If it was fun, you'll come back tomorrow. And so to me, it's just, again, dude, I'm not trying to raise up a gym. I'm not trying to raise up a competition gym. We got good competitors, but our good competitors are good because they love it so much and they spend so much time on the mats. Not because I push that atmosphere. I push this is going to be good for you. If you could just stomach it and come and try it out, you're going to really like it. And, we'll put right now, not that many, but we'll put 60 people on the mats every night with that spirit right there. And the training is high level when it is, but it's fun most of the time. For the average student, doesn't care anything about getting good. They're just looking for something. It could be self-defense. It could be health. It could be a community, but they're looking for something. And it's almost certainly not to be the UFC champion.
Yeah, that seems to be an overall factor that just overrides everything. Is people got to have fun, man. People got to have fun. I
got to have fun. Like, if I'm training to be the best person in my gym, like if I'm trying to be the best person that I train with, well, I did it. I'm the best person that I train with. So then why keep training if that was the objective? There has to be some other thing that brings me back. I do want to keep getting better. I am very passionate about it. But honestly, man, it benefits me tremendously to be there. It benefits me physically. Right now, dude, especially during all this craziness, I think all of us see more than ever that it benefits us mentally, more than we even realized. Most of us, especially those of us that train every day and just take it for granted, it benefits us mentally more than we even knew. So, there's just something about physical touch and adding a skill that it's a potion that just can't be messed with, dude. It's a winning potion.
I hear that. Sometimes I feel like I wish I enjoyed just doing Tai Chi in the park a bit more and just, my shoulder wouldn't hurt as much. But just don't. I don't. It's not as fun.
I like some of that stuff.
It's okay.
There's been some things. I went on a kick for a little while where I was reading a lot of essays from Tai Chi. And I went on a kick for a little while where I was really learning a lot about the touch that I wanted my jiu-jitsu to have, just from reading some of the theories and trying to practice some of the, I don't have a Tai Chi coach or anything, but just like listening to their martial theories and their martial philosophy. I would have to say that Tai Chi's much more art than martial, much more art than martial, but that doesn't mean there's no value in it.
Yeah, I should say wasn't ragging on Tai Chi. I don't know if you've read the book. If you read the book, The Art of Learning, or Josh Waitzkin, the Marcelo Garcia black belt now, but his book, The Art of Learning, he goes into the World Tai Chi Championships. Before I read that book, I had no idea that it could actually be a competitive side. And when you actually look at his matches, and his matches kind of actually seem to be some of the only ones online. Like, the competitive side is definitely not promoted by Tai Chi, I think. But they really look like
no-gi judo, sort of.
Yeah. It's like, okay, they have fixed feet and free, open feet or something. One where they have to keep their feet planted, and then that's like just total reaction where they, try and push people over, kind of like, sumo wrestling. But if sumo, I always pronounce that wrong. People don't understand what I say.
I like the way you pronounced it. I thought it was great. Yeah, I'm going to start doing it that way.
But they have to stay their feet planted. They can push each other over, or they free feet or whatever it's called, and it turns.
Yeah, I can't remember what the other style is called. It might be open.
Open,
but there's a fixed style and open style. Yeah, I get a lot of value. Like, if you ever have a tense student come in, like, those students that come in and they're like this, and no matter what move you teach them, they feel like this, like balled up like a rock.
Yeah.
I'll teach them how to do that fixed style Tai Chi. So that just foot to foot and then run in the circle, and like feel how when you push me, that makes you stiff and I can move you, and feel how when you relax, I can't move you so easily anymore. Oh, okay. And that can start to help open up their learning there.
That's a good way. Actually, one way I've actually used it as well is just for like a fun game with people is get them to stand on kick bags. So 1 foot each on kick bags, and just like, okay, hand here, go, you guys, and just try and push each other off just to keep things, just as fun, a fun little game.
Again, it's fun. Yeah.
But that's, I got it from looking at Tai Chi. So
I never would have, like you, I never would have thought that there was any value to Tai Chi had I not read Art of Learning. And I knew that he was I think at the time he was a brown belt under Marcelo that I read the book, because he got his black belt. I remember when he got his black belt, it was a big deal. He was Marcelo's first black belt. But yeah, I knew that he was a really good jiu-jitsu practitioner, and that he was not just saying, I used to do Tai Chi, but no. There's martial value here. Look into it. Okay, I'll try. And I found that for my own style, at least, I found that to be definitely true.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I didn't expect this to go down the Tai Chi route.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Again, I should be real clear. I don't know anything about Tai Chi. Like, I'm not like a studied practitioner anyway. I just was trying to glean, like, knowing what I did know about martial arts, trying to glean where is the martial value here. And it's in the training style. It's in the philosophy. It's not in the martial technique, because there's not any. But the art has a lot to teach about how to make my martial more martial.
And the other big takeaway is obviously when you see elderly people doing it in the park, and like, hey, they're out there at an old age, still moving well. Hey, maybe that's something to consider. But bringing it back to fun and keeping things fun, let's say, I'm a white belt coming into your class, I'll be gone in a couple of weeks. Maybe I've had a rough night. Some guys, sweated on us. Something's a bit sore. Didn't get any taps. What do you actually do to make things fun to make that person want to keep coming back? What's some tangible ways that can be done?
Well, I think mainly just checking on them and making sure that they understand that that's the process that you signed up for. That feeling you have right there, that's what you were looking for. That I didn't accomplish what I set out to accomplish. Good. That means your goals were high enough tonight. I didn't get what I needed to get. This guy beat me up. Good. You need those things. Like the fire refines the gold. You understand what I mean? It burns away the impurities. So there's no way to find the gold without putting it through the fire. Good job. The fire's going to last longer than you think. I'll see you tomorrow, right? Yeah. When's your next class you're coming to? I don't know. I got to check my schedule. No. When are you coming next? You'll be here Tuesday at 6? Yeah. I'll be here Tuesday at 6. I'll see you then. Don't miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So getting that's a little trick there. Just getting them to commit to say a time and a day on the way out the door is actually a huge thing.
Yeah. So you're creating that personal connection then with you. Like, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable to turning up, but hey, you're turning up because it's going to be fun. This is, it's tough, but we know that there's benefit from it. We know that there's value from it. People probably intuitively know that, hey, I'm working hard at something. This is going to pay off eventually, but you got to give them the reason to put themselves through the fire to actually get that.
And we ease everybody in, man. So like if you're just a rando dude coming in and you've never trained before, you're pretty out of shape, you know that you're walking into something hard and you're like, dude, I just got to do something. We're going to ease you in. And like I don't let people roll on their first night. Like, stop. You're not going to roll tonight. Unless you've got a background already. That's a little different. Like you wrestled in college. Well, okay, come on over here. I got something for you. So yeah, little things like that. When they do start, I'll make the matches generally in the beginner's class. Me or one of the coaches, we make the matches that we feel like are appropriate as much as we can. And we got a ton of people in there these days. So it's not as easy as that used to be, but you just got 20 people in class. All right, everybody on the wall. You two guys, come on out here. Y'all go, you know what I mean? Making those matches. Because otherwise you'll have like white belt hunters roaming the room looking for who they can beat up and get there. And then those people generally will duck hard matches too. Mm-hmm. They'll just run around and look for white belts to beat up on, make sure that they don't get beat up. And we also limit the beginners to 3 rounds in the beginner class. So they go to class, they drill, and then they're only allowed to roll 3 rounds at the end of that. And then we break in the advanced stays, and then we keep going after that. But we turn them like, hey, get out of here. 3 rounds. That's all you're getting tonight.
Leave them wanting more, eh?
Leave them wanting more. And a lot of the guys only wanted 2. A lot of the new people only wanted 1, or they didn't want to get out there at all. And so hitting that mark, hitting 3 is a big deal to them. So rather than going, all right, we're going to roll for the rest of the night, and then you going, oh, I can't take any more. I don't know if I can get a 4th round in. And then getting that beginner feeling like everybody's watching me quit and walk off the mat. You don't get the opportunity to have that feeling. We cut you off at 3. And when we think you're ready to start bumping up, then we start, we don't hold everybody there forever by any means. But, some people need to be held there for a while.
Yep. No, that's a good way of looking at it, because obviously I'm thinking my first reaction is leave them wanting more, because that's just my mindset thinking that, everyone wants to keep doing it. But I wasn't considering that, there might be people there just scared of getting in that 1 round and just like, okay, I'm happy with it.
Man, might be.
For sure, right?
They definitely are. I was. Man, there were times. So when I first started training and we had that MMA class, I didn't know anything. I was, literally, I was 230 pounds at that time, 5 feet 8 inches tall, 230 pounds. Now I'm 170. Well, probably a little more like 180 right now. If I'm being honest, I've been eating a little quarantine healthy, you know what I'm saying? But I was a big boy. I was at least 50 pounds overweight, and I didn't know anything. And the first class I went to, I got the fool beat out of me. They beat me to death. And the next, I don't know, man, for the next several months, it was just that. It was just basically like being the new guy, just getting hammered, just crushed. And man, I would sit in my car sometimes and just be so nervous about going back inside. And if I wasn't the kind of person that I am, I like things like that, so it's not so bad. But that is weird. You got to be flicked in the head to stay with that. And most people will not get out of the car after the third or fourth time. They'll just be like, this is crazy. I'm going to the house.
Yeah, that's what I've certainly found is that, most or a lot of the people who have been doing this for a long time or started a bit longer ago, everyone had that mindset that they were probably going to get to black belt and keep doing it, probably no matter what happened in those first classes. But yet now people are coming in, hey, they just want to work out. They just want to get fit. They're just, they've heard about this sport that's, getting a bit more coverage. People are talking about it. They've especially heard about it on Joe Rogan. That's a big
honestly, that's helped out a lot. Not just for exposure, but for letting people know what they're walking into. Because he goes, hey, listen, it's going to be hard. This little nerd's going to kick your butt, and you're going to want to quit, and he's going to break your arm, and it's a death game, death video. They're talking crazy. But it lets people know what they're walking into a little bit. And I also find like having so much content, like so much video content out on our school, like people know, they kind of know us when they get there, sort of. If they've been a little nervous and they've been investigating, watching dude, there's so much video and so much audio of me that you can almost like know everything about my life before you even walk in, So, and not only that, but people have seen the mat room that's familiar to them. They know that there's a little tiki hut over in the corner. They know there's bleachers right there. They know that big bay door opens. They know you got to walk. You know what I'm saying? They know It's not unfamiliar when they get there. And so it makes it much, much easier and then they see, look, I'm not a big, tattooed, scary looking guy. I'm a little dorky redneck fella and I smile a lot. Oh, and he's the guy in charge. This will be okay. And then what I actually have is I have people take it not seriously enough sometimes because they're comfortable when they come in. So like, hold on a second. It's not going to be as easy as you thought. I'm about to mess you up,
It's funny you mentioned people being coming in a bit out of shape. Do you have the excuse over there, the same that I hear a lot here of I'm going to come to training once I get fit enough?
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
That seems to be a common one. And
it's understandable though, because like for most sports, if you can basketball or let's say football, if I can get in great shape to play basketball, a lot of that's going to translate to football because we're running and we're jumping and we're exploding and we're cutting back and forth and just light body contact. There's no grappling. There's no striking, anything like that. There's no up and down off the floor. So, most sports kind of translate to each other at least a little bit, but nothing translates to grappling. And grappling don't really translate to anything else either. Just because I could roll for I bet I could roll for 4 hours before I had to stop. But I bet if you asked me to run a mile, I would fall over dead.
Yeah, I hear you. So, I've been doing running during this time just to keep something up. Dude. And
I tell everybody I learned how to fight, so I wouldn't have to run no more.
It's fair play to that.
Fight or flight, it's always going to be fight.
Fair play. So, what would you tell someone if they're thinking, hey, I'm not going to come into class because I do want to get fit first? What would you tell that person if they're listening to this now? That's what they're thinking. I want to try jiu-jitsu, but I'm going to get fit first. What would you say to them? I
would encourage you to get as in shape as you can because you're going to need every bit of it. And then when you get out of shape, you're going to find out that it was wasted time. You should just listen to me in the first place and signed up for class on day one. It is. I don't want to say it's wasted because getting in good shape is never wasted, right? And obviously the better shape you're in, the more athletic potential you're going to have when you do start getting your butt kicked. But rest assured, you don't know how to use your body, you're going to get tired. Like it doesn't matter what kind of shape you're in. You're not going to, if you're in shape for running, you're in shape for efficiency in running, but you don't know anything about how to squeeze efficiently or how to rest and when to rest and how to breathe. Get in class. That's the only way to get in shape for grappling is to grapple.
Nice. I like that. I hear that very loud and clear. So just one last question, I guess, about keeping things fun is,
all right.
Do you play music while you roll? And, being a musician, what music do you like to listen to if you do?
Oh, I'm a Pearl Jam man. I love Pearl Jam.
There we go. There we
I
go.
play Pearl Jam. They get sick of it. They get sick of Pearl Jam. But I play Pearl Jam albums pretty much every session. I like that kind of music. You know, I like rock. I don't mind hip hop, but a lot of times we'll have kids in the room and stuff, and I don't want to blast that too loud. You know, I'm not against it, but it just depends on who's in the room. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah. Sometimes, one, I feel sorry for sometimes the students having to listen to the music I'm playing, and two, sometimes I will listen to the lyrics and think, ooh,
yeah, maybe
that sounds a bit different when it's just in my headphones, just going, you know. Yeah. But hang on, some, yeah. Anyway,
I don't like anything too hard though. I don't like real hard music when I train. I like just kind of chill stuff, man.
Yeah,
you know, nothing too wild, because I don't play like a real aggressive style, you know.
But you think that does help create that vibe in the room?
Oh yeah, the music definitely. Run this experiment, any of you, I dare you. Try to play Jackson 5 and music from the 50s and the 60s in your next class, and watch what happens. Just watch. You tell me. All
right, interesting. I can't wait to get back and give that a shot, and we'll report back and see how that goes.
Make sure you play stuff like that everybody knows the words to, and it feels like bebop-y like this, and watch what happens in class. Even try with like 80s pop music or something like that, and watch what happens to the class. Okay.
I like it. I'm starting to groove out now, just running it through my head. So
I know, right?
And last question would be just a bit of advice that you could tell your white belt self back in the day. If we could, go back in the time machine, ghost of jiu-jitsu past, what would be the one thing that you could say that you think your white belt self would benefit the most from hearing?
Well, the thing that I would want to tell myself, I already heard when I was a white belt. You just don't listen. But it's like tap earlier. You know what I mean? Or you don't have to win at all. That would be something that I would really emphasize to myself. Like, you don't have to win at all. You can't win, and you're not impressing anybody by how tough you're acting. You're not tough either. Like, settle down, take your L, and learn what you're supposed to learn. It's a longer process. You don't have to be good tomorrow.
Yep. I hear that. That's good advice for sure for people to take on board. But yeah.
Well, I heard all that as a white belt. I just didn't hear it.
That's one of the things we've been talking about too, is the problem of then trying to get people just to learn solely from the own mistakes that you've made without letting them make their own mistakes. It seems to be a hard thing. If we could just listen to every bit of advice people give us, the world would be a different place. But people have to make their own mistakes, and yeah, it's finding out a way to allow them to do that, and so they can actually take that advice, because they have to make the mistake themselves to learn it, which is weird.
There's great value in self-discovery. Like, when you come up with the answer to a problem yourself, it sticks differently, right? It doesn't mean that I didn't understand it when you gave me the advice. I understood what you said, but it didn't stick to my DNA the same way. Is when I had no choice but to do it this way. When this way solved the problem for me. Oh, look at this thing I came up with. Brandon, I told you that 3 years ago. Oh, yeah, well, I came up with this just now.
Exactly.
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah, spot on. So yeah, that's something. Look, maybe we can come back, do this again another time, and we can delve into that a bit more, because I've really enjoyed this chat, and I think there's a lot of valuable things to take away from it. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Man, it was a pleasure, for real. Thank you so much.
BMAC, can I call you BMAC now? I think we're
pretty much best friends now.
Oh. Beautiful. BMAC, if people want to get in touch with you, I know you've got a great website. You've got some courses on there. You've also got stuff with BJJ Fanatics on the rubber guard that people can buy and check out. You've got a bunch of courses online. People want to do those, get in touch with you. What should they do?
Just go to Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, BrandonMC.ninja. That's me. Just look it up. There'll be something free right there for you in some variety on any of those channels you go to. So there's tons of free content. If you're looking for something a little more in depth. I got full courses that are free as well, and then I got paid products as well. But just start with the free stuff. Start with the free stuff.
Beautiful. I think, did I hear you got a free one on the triangle choke at the moment? Is that?
I do, man. If you want, I'll send you a link to where everybody, and a code to where everybody can get it. And
beautiful.
You can kind of put it out to them after that.
Yeah. We'll put that in the show notes in the, in the little link section, and everyone can get on board with that. BMAC, thanks so much for your time, sir. Really appreciate it. And stay safe, and let's chat again in the future.
Sounds good, man. Thank you so much, Sonny.
Thank you. Take care, mate.
You have been listening to the Sonny Brown Breakdown. Until next time, you can visit sonnybrown.net to find out more ways to break it down.